here, and the only thing we seem to be talking about, with good reason, I think, is the virtual offseason, how difficult it is for quarterbacks. Kurt, are we making too much of a big deal out of this?
Andrew, I think we are, especially at this point in time. And I think back to when I was playing, and I did very little football-oriented stuff in the offseason. You know, I didn't go out in the backyard and throw the football around every day or every other day. It was save your arm, save your body. Yes, you're lifting weights. Yes, you're running. You're focusing on footwork at times, some of those things. But the only thing that you really miss in the offseason is the OTAs and team-organized activities, when I could get out there with a defense and actually play to the speed of the game and react to what I was seeing and taking my plays and applying them on the football field. But I wouldn't have been doing any of that at this point in time in the offseason. So I think you can still get a lot done. You can still be ready to go mentally. You can still, and guys are having meetings and learning their offenses. That to me is what the offseason was all about. All these guys can go out in their backyard and throw every route against air. What it's really going to be about is reaction time when you can get a defense out there. And so at this point, I'm not fully concerned about these guys. I think guys are going to be ready to go, considering or assuming that we get an entire, I shouldn't say preseason, but training camp for these guys to go through and get the reps and get acclimated back to, to football in general, but to their offenses, specifically.
They could do routes against air now or on air as long as they, get the kids or the wife or the neighbors or whomever they feel comfortable with in the backyard, and assuming they can throw the football and catch the football. Thank you, Kurt Warner. Let's look at some quarterback numbers here and passer rating numbers specifically here. Most of these guys, the exception of Russell, who's 31, and Aaron Rodgers, who's in his mid-30s, are young quarterbacks. So I know Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson haven't played much, but look at the passer rating here. Highest passer ratings in NFL history. These guys have had breakout seasons, but there is always a next level. Steve Smith Sr., David Carr, back with me on Total Access. Steve, you go first. Give me a young quarterback who's really going to have a breakout season.
I'm looking at this quarterback who plays for America's team, Dak Prescott. We know Dak Prescott is dangerous. But with Mike McCarthy, now I'm looking for him to have that breakout season to match all the commercials, right? When you see who they drafted and you've seen what Mike McCarthy has done in previous years, I'm looking at a Dallas Cowboys that is led by Dak Prescott, not Dak Prescott and company. That's what I'm really looking at, and that's what I'm excited to see what Mike McCarthy brings to the Cowboys for Dak Prescott.
Yeah, Dak's going to need to start showing up for the Zoom meetings, make sure you're there, because Andy Dalton can step in and throw for 5,000 yards with this group. CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, they have a loaded offense. I agree with you. I think Dak's going to take a huge step. That offense is going to be a lot of fun to watch. You look at young quarterbacks in that list that we popped up, Andrew. You looked at Watson, you looked at Mahomes, you looked at Lamar Jackson, the recent MVPs. You got to find transcendent talent. And I think there's one guy that really stands out for me, and that's Josh Allen. Josh Allen has transcendent type talent. He has a big-time arm. He can run. He's a big physical kid. I wish they would run more with this guy. When I look at it, he took a 6% bump in completion percentage from his first year to his second year. The addition of Cole Beasley, when he came in, the intermediate passing game stepped up. We were talking about how he wasn't maybe as consistently accurate. That bumped up big time. The only real limit now is the down the field throws. We know he has a huge arm. That's just from understanding coverage, understanding when you get those zero looks like he got a lot against New England this year. They pressure him. If he can answer the bell and he can make plays against those pressure looks, he can take a big jump. You add Stephon Diggs now into the mix with Cole Beasley with that run game. If they can ask Josh to do a little bit more physically with his run game with that defense, that's a perfect scenario for a kid to just skyrocket and take off to the next level. And he has the ability to be that guy that we just kind of sit back and say, where did these guys come from? Some of the plays that he makes just might kind of make your jaw drop out. He has that ability. I just want to see him kind of go out there and be more of an executioner as far as what he does from the quarterback position.
All right, I want to go back to Dak, or Dak to the future if I could. Steve, he had 4,900 yards last year. Statistically, they were nuts. But yeah. Would a breakout year for Dak Prescott mean fewer yards and more wins? Do you care about the stats? You just want to see him lead them to victories?
I just want to see him take over a game. When you showed those young guns, when you look at Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, they're in the MVP conversation. Dak Prescott has never really been in that conversation because when we look at the Dallas Cowboys, we think of all the other people. Now with Mike McCarthy, I believe that he could take this offense to the level that can show that Dak Prescott can be exceptional, and he could be that in possibly another uniform. Right now, we kind of say, it's the star, right? And I just don't believe that Dak Prescott, you can put him in that category, in that box, but he has the ability to bust open that box to say, hey, guys, I'm here. I play for America's team, but I also can carry another team if I'm requested to do it.
I was inspired to ask another Cowboys question because that steer over Mr. Carr's shoulder there, 24 and a quarter by 48 and a quarter black and white Highland Cow framed wall canvas. Threshold at $74.99. I'm going to go get one right now, actually. I don't want to
pump Target.
Game is the previous Thursday on the 10th. We have the Texans and the Chiefs as they defend the Lombardi and bring it back home to Arrowhead. Look, every game, week one, is a notable matchup, all 16 games. But can we do a players only for a deeper dive on week one? What do you say, Michael Robinson? Take it away.
What's up, family? I'm Real Mike Robb. I'm here with the sack master in Willie McGinnis and one of my all-time favorite running backs of all time in LaDainian Tomlinson. Now, guys, we're talking about the schedule and our favorite week one matchups. And, Willie, I'll start with you. What's your favorite or what's the most intriguing week one matchup this year?
Let's just get it jumped off right at the start, and Rob. How about Brady going against Drew Brees? I know it's a division rival, but how many times have we seen two of the best to ever do it at the quarterback position go against each other? Both of these teams are talented. Both of these teams geared up in the offseason with adding more talent. The Saints, they added Emmanuel Sanders. They went out and they got a center. The defense is really good. They got everything pretty much intact. Okay, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you bring over Brady, you bring over Gronk. You already got two Pro Bowl receivers. You're going to add a running back. You draft a left tackle. Mm-hmm. Both of these teams are talented, man. I can't wait to see them go at it week one and how they adjust, the back and forth, the adjustments being made by the offensive coordinators and the head coaches. This is going to be a great game, man.
Ooh. Yeah, Willie, you're right, man. It's hard to go against you with that week one matchup. But I'm going to say Green Bay and Minnesota, guys. Oh. And when you think about this matchup, in the two of the last 3 years, these two teams have won that division. And we all know all the different storylines coming out of those two teams' camps. Green Bay drafted a quarterback. In the second round, they drafted A.J. Dillon. So they're actually telling Aaron Rodgers, hey, our identity on this football team is changing. We need to become a more physical team in the NFC North. And then we look at Minnesota, they're already there. They play that brand of football. So this is going to be a terrific matchup. You know, the Vikings drafted Justin Jefferson to replace Stephon Diggs. Man, I can't wait to see the young fella in that offense. That's going to be.
Yeah, two great matchups, guys. But for me, I mean, you guys are going toward the older quarterbacks in this league. This league is all about the young guns. What about Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, the Houston Texans, going over to take on the Kansas City Chiefs? Guys, this has to be the game that you want to see. Two of the new faces of our league. You talk about Patrick Mahomes. He won an MVP a couple of years ago, won a Super Bowl last year, and a Super Bowl MVP. And most think he's going to be the highest paid quarterback ever in our league. And then Deshaun Watson. Right? Drafted 12th overall. He wants to show everybody he's in that conversation of the faces of the league as well. And guys, and I know LT, you're going to love this one. What about the Johnson boys in the Texans backfield? David Johnson and Duke Johnson. Both of these guys know how to carry the football between the tackles and affect the game in the passing game. So, yeah, man, I love this matchup.
All right, for my money, I don't know if my opinion counts here. Kurt Warner, Steve Smith, I'm going with the Rams and the Cowboys here when they open up SoFi Stadium, brand new building, Sunday night, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and all that. Steve, week one, which game are you looking forward to most, sir?
I'm excited to see the Seattle Seahawks travel down to Atlanta and see and watch a Todd Gurley unleashed, right? To know that the previous 2 seasons he's played under a pitch count, but see him now in Atlanta Falcons uniform, air conditioned, perfect weather conditions for him, nothing can get in his way. And then also, too, he doesn't have to carry the load anymore. You already have a Matt Ryan who's established veteran, and then you have Julio Jones who's doing his thing outside. So I want to really see what a Todd Gurley can do with an established team already. He's not the young gun. He's just part of already established team. And look, he's already played as a Georgia Bulldog, so you don't think he's going to be hyped each and every week to play in front of his college fans and also growing up there? Man, it's exciting. I can't wait to watch that one week 1.
Well, Steve, I'm going to be watching that one too. You know me, I'm all about the quarterback play. Great quarterback matchups, and we've already heard a number of those. I mean, Watson and Mahomes, can't wait. The one you just mentioned, Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan, I can't wait. But I'm with Willie on this one. I mean, how often do we get a chance? And I know they're in the same division now. But we're going to start the season with Tom Brady against Drew Brees, top 2 passing yardage leaders in the history of our game. Know they're going to get 2 opportunities at this, but what a way to start the season. Been obviously a crazy offseason, a lot of stuff going on, but man, we are going to start the season with a bang. I can't wait to see how this plays out. I believe these 2 teams, along with Atlanta, be vying for the top of that division, but to start it out that way, to see where these 2 teams are, add Gronk to the mix with Tom Brady, I think that's going to be where everybody has their eyes tuned that afternoon game on week number 1.
Brady is 6 behind Brees on the NFL all-time passing touchdown list. Knowing Tom Brady, he probably wants to tie Brees in week 1. Thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Steve, as we continue here on NFL Total Access. Coming up, the 2 most important factors in any quarterback wide receiver